Hey guys, Dusty here. I finally have a chance to break down one of my training weeks. So we'll go over everything that I did last week and let's get right into it. Okay, so here it is. Lots of green, which is nice. The previous 2 weeks before this, I did no swimming or no riding. I took an extended trip back home to visit family and I just took my running shoes and running was all I did. So this week was kind of my intro back into true triathlon training. So this week was about just over a 20-hour training week. I did 5 swims totaling just over 4 hours in the pool, or about 13K. I did 4 rides totaling 11 and a half hours, so big bike week for me. And I did 4 runs for about 3 hours and 15 minutes, and I ran about 42 kilometers. And then I also did 1 yoga session, and I did about a 30-minute strength training with kettlebells. So those are the totals. Let's dive into how that actually broke down. Okay, so my first day back, I did a ride. It's kind of a mixed bag. I did a 10-minute interval. I did I think a 5, a 3, and then a whole bunch of 1-minute intervals. And that was just kind of varying power up to a little over 300 watts. Just kind of blowing the cobwebs off the legs and getting used to some hard efforts again. Same thing in the pool. Just kind of a mixed swim, just getting back and getting a feel for the water again. Can't remember what exactly I did for a set, but it wasn't important. It was just about getting some time in the pool for this first swim back. And on Monday was when I did my kettlebell session, so I did about 20 minutes worth of strength training. All right, we move on to Tuesday. If I remember correctly, I was actually feeling pretty good in the pool, but I just wanted to keep my feel for the water high. And I ended up doing a whole bunch of drills on Tuesday. So I did lots of sculling, lots of one-arm drills. Yeah, pretty easy swim. It was about 2K, about 45 minutes with all the rest. After the swim, I had an hour and a half bike on all my bikes this week were on the trainer. So I went on Zwift and I did 4 by 12 minute hill repeats or strength work. So I think it was pretty low power. I think it was about only 250 watts, which usually for hill repeats for 12 minutes, I'll be usually at least over 280. But I hadn't rode in a couple of weeks, so I just set it at 250 and grinded it out 55 to 60 RPMs. And it felt really easy, which I was really happy with after not riding for a couple of weeks. So all in all, fairly easy workout. I love doing hill repeats or strength work or over gear work on the bike, and 12-minute intervals are perfect for that. Sometime after the ride, I went out, and it says 2 runs here, but I just messed up. My watch was actually 1 run of about 45 minutes. Kept it fairly easy. I think I went through 10K in about 45 minutes over a really hilly route, so that was nice. And I was testing my new Ultra shoes, which I will be making a review on those very soon. To cap off my Tuesday, I went and did an hour of yin yoga. All right, we move on to Wednesday. Wednesday was my first harder swim in the pool. I did a main set of 14 by 100. I did this with my training buddy Dan, and this workout is called Move the 25s. So this is a really good set. Each 100 has one maximum effort 50 or 25, and the rest is all really easy swimming. So it's a really polarized main set. You're either going max effort or you're going really easy. So this was a really nice intro back into some hard efforts in the pool, and it ended up being 3K. After that, my Wednesday, I was really busy, but I did have enough time to squeeze in about a 5-mile or a 35-minute run on the treadmill. All right, we move on to Thursday. I believe I did the swim first on Thursday, but it was short, hard efforts with Dan again. It was a short swim, only 2K, but it was really high intensity swim and something I definitely need to be doing a lot more often. After the swim, I did 3 hours easy on the trainer. I remember the last 30 minutes of this ride, my endurance was starting to suffer a little bit. 3-hour rides for me shouldn't be an issue. Yes, I hadn't done much in the previous few weeks, but I need to get back to that point where a 3-hour ride is nothing, and a 3-hour ride with efforts especially. So this one was easy. I struggled a little bit the last 30 minutes, so definitely after this ride, I knew that I needed to work on my endurance a little bit. Recovered after that ride and actually felt pretty good. So went out for a short little 30-minute run, and I did 2 really hard hill repeats. And I felt great doing these repeats. It was the first time in probably over a month that I've done any sort of efforts on the run. And I wanted to do hills specifically because this upcoming Sunday I have an 8K race, and it's over a really hilly course. So for me to be competitive at this race, I obviously need to be good in the hills. So I just wanted to give myself a little dose of hills before race day. All right, and that was all I had done for Thursday. So Thursday was a pretty long day. Looks like it was about 4 hours and 15 minutes of training. Friday at work, I couldn't train too much. I had a longer day at work, which consisted of about 4 hours of walking. And then I had also done another swim with Dan called the Lung Buster set. And this is one of my favorite swim workouts. It's a main set of 16 by 50, 12 by 50, 8 by 50, and then finally 4 by 50. And each of those sets has a bunch of 50s that are at max effort. And all of the 50s are done with swim paddles and pull buoys. Oh, and the 50s that aren't at max effort, you're holding your breath for 5 swim strokes. So that's why it's called the Lung Buster set. Yeah, and that one's one of my favorites. All right, that brings us to Saturday. Saturday, really easy day. Just about an hour and 25-minute run, about 11 miles or 18K. Did this with Dan. We chatted the whole time, and it was just nice to get out for a long run. All right, now we move on to Sunday, which was my biggest day. I did 6 hours on the trainer on Zwift. So my entire Sunday morning was spent with my butt sitting on the bike, watching Netflix, spinning on Zwift. And I just did this because Thursday's ride felt pretty crappy the last 30 minutes of a 3-hour ride. So to kind of force some endurance into my body, I decided, because I had the time, I was going to put in 6 hours on Zwift on Sunday. So here's the file. I plugged it into erg. I just wanted to ride 150 watts the whole time. My heart rate average was only 120, which is well below zone 2 for me, which typically you don't want to do a whole lot of training in zone 1. It's a true recovery zone. Like I said, today was more just about actually putting in that time, and I knew having a really low heart rate would help me get up to 6 hours with no issues. So now hopefully going forward, all my long workouts can be a bit more structured and certainly higher than zone 1 at least. And I had no issues at all during this ride. I fueled this ride perfectly. Yeah, I wish they all felt this easy. So takeaways on my big training week. Didn't miss a single session, which is really, really good. Obviously not the most exciting training week to break down because 90% of it was really easy work. And as of right now, it's only a few days into the next week and I already feel so much stronger. And the biggest thing was I was consistent. I did, 5 swims, 4 rides, 4 runs, a yoga and a strength session. That's a lot of sessions, especially considering I hadn't done very much the previous few weeks. So keeping it easy ensured that I could have a little bit bigger of a week, my first week back. And now going forward, we will start to introduce a little bit more intensity. So that's what my first week back looked like. It was 20 hours and I couldn't be happier with the results. So try to make another one for this upcoming week. This upcoming week is also capped off with that 8K race that I was talking about. So if you like my training breakdown, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe for more everything running, triathlon, and nutrition related.